Hello and welcome to the geography class of class 9th. We'll be doing lesson 1 India size and location. Before we move ahead, since this is our first class in geography, let's start with the explanation. What do you understand by geography?
From your very childhood, you have been learning about earth, plants, animals, environment, climate, minerals, land reliefs, crops, people, their culture, clothing, food eating habits, and many more. All these topics come under geography. So, what is geography? So, basically, geography is the systematic study of Earth. Its features like land relief, climate, resources, etc., its inhabitants, that which possess life and that which doesn't, and the various phenomena that takes place on it. Geography is a science that studies the relationship among places, people, and environment.
In this lesson, we are covering three aspects. They are India, its size and location, and how the location of a country benefits us. So let us start. We'll start with our first question. What do you know about our country, India? We all know that India is a country in the southern part of the Asian continent. Okay, so we can say India is a South Asian country. Next is that it is surrounded from three sides with water. And what are the water sources here? Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and Bay of Bengal. Right. So that's the reason, since it is surrounded from three sides with water, we call it a peninsular country. And apart from that, India is also a subcontinent because all sorts of land reliefs are found here, like the mountains, plains, plateaus, deserts, right? All sorts of means whatever you see on a continent, all type of land reliefs are available here. Okay, that's also one reason. If we focus more closely on India, then we can say that India is the second most populous country in the world, and its neighbors are Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar in the north, and Sri Lanka and Maldives in the south. And then you can also say that Tropic of Cancer passes through India, right? Dividing the country into two different zones, that is the tropical zone and the temperate zone. Himalayas are in the northern part of our country, whereas the southern part we have the Indian Ocean. Okay, these are all the points that we can mention when we are talking about India. Now that we have understood a little about India, so let us move on to the next topic, that is the size of India. I have done an explanation about the land boundary and area in the YouTube shorts. You can check that out as well. So when we are talking about the boundary, it is basically the perimeter of our country. So it is 15,200 kilometers, and whereas the area is 3.28 million square kilometer. Now, this land area that India occupies in the entire world amounts to 2.4% of the land, and India is the seventh largest country in the world as per the land, if you take into consideration. Apart from that, when we are talking about size of our country, we also talk about the coastline, because India has the longest coastline in the Indian Ocean. So that is something very important that we need to acknowledge. So coastline along the mainland is, see, this is the mainland. So along the mainland, it is 6,100 kilometers, whereas when we are including Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands coastline also, then it is 7,516.6 kilometer. Okay, see here important is that when they are particularly mentioning mainland, it is 6,100 kilometer. When they are entire coastline of our country, then it is 7,516.6 kilometers. Coming to understanding the size and location of India. So when you are given an object, what are the various parameters that you look into? Length, width, height, perimeter, area, volume, right? But when we are coming to India, here, since it is the size of our country, here we are observing only the perimeter and area, that is the land boundary and the coastal line, coastal length, and the area of our country. Whereas if for location, what do you have? For example, you are at some place. Okay, you call your dad and ask him to pick you up from that place. He says, switch on the GPS location of your place wherever you are. I'll come and pick you up. You just switch it on and then he gets the coordinates and he comes to pick you. Now, does he follow the latitude and longitudinal coordinates? No. Why? Because all these places have been given names, right? Now these places, exact place you get to know, the route is also given. According to that, your dad comes and picks you up. So what helped us here? The latitudinal and longitudinal coordinates. So this is what we'll be studying here. Before we talk about the coordinates, let us revisit the topic of latitudes and longitudes. Now, first, we'll discuss about Earth. Now, what is the shape of our Earth? It is in the shape of a oblate spheroid. What is an oblate spheroid? That is, in the North Pole and the South Pole, it is flattened and the rest is in the form of a sphere. And why is it flattened there? Because of its continuous rotation around over the axis, right? So it is bulging near the equator. So the equatorial radius will be more than the radius near the poles. So we know that equator is 0 degree latitude, right? And these latitudes are parallel to each other. We also know that equator divides the Earth into two equal halves, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Now these latitudes along with the longitudes form a grid-like network, right? On the basis of this grids only, we find out the location of a place because those are called as the coordinates. First, we will understand a little more about latitudes and longitudes, and then we'll move further. Now, latitudes and longitudes are called angular measurement. Why are they called angular measurement? Because if you observe here, this is from the center of the earth. If this is the 0 degree we are considering line, okay, this is the x-axis and this is your y-axis. On the basis of that, if you are taking a 20-degree angle here, okay, this will be your 20-degree longitude, right? This longitude you will get. Now, if from here again, this is the 60-degree longitude that has been shown to us. Okay. So for longitudes, it is on the x-axis plane. Now, if we want the latitudes here, then it is, if the angle will be in this side. Okay. This is the 0 degree, right? This is the x-axis. This is the 0 degree line, and from here this is the 20-degree angle. So this will be your 20-degree latitude. Then again there's this angle we take. This is the 40-degree angle. This is your 40-degree latitude. I hope you got it, right? Here they have shown this is the 55-degree latitude line that they have shown here. This is how on the basis of this the latitudes and longitudes have been formed. That's the reason why they are called as angular measurement. So that's what it's given here. Now you know why latitudes are called angular measurement of distance, north or south of equator, right? Now these are what are the important points about it? They are parallel lines. They run east to west in direction. They measure the north and south from the equator. They are parallels to one another and they never meet. They cross the prime meridian at right angle. Okay, and they lie in the plane that cross the Earth's axis at right angles. Okay, get shorter towards the poles. Yes, as I discussed earlier, right? As I told earlier, it is bulged towards the center, that is the equator is the larger radius, has a larger radius, whereas at the poles the radius is smaller. Now coming to longitude, longitude is a measurement of location of the east or west. Now equator tells us about the north and south, right? Now longitude measurement gives us the east and west of the prime meridian. This is the prime meridian here at the Greenwich Mean Time. This passes through London, Spain, France, and many other countries in Africa as well. The other countries are in Africa. They are Algeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Togo, and Ghana, through which this Greenwich Mean Time, that is the prime meridian, passes. As the latitudes are called parallels, the longitudes are called as meridians. Now they run from north to south direction and they measure the distance of east and west from the prime meridian. Now, another point is that it crosses the equator at right angle. We'll see the grid formation in the next diagram. Okay. Now, they are farthest apart at the equator and meet at the poles, right? And they lie in the planes that pass through the Earth's axis. They are equal in length and are halves of great circles. Okay. These latitude and longitude are commonly referred to as geographical coordinates, and with its help, location, distance, and direction of various parts on Earth or various points on Earth can be easily determined. Now, although infinite number of parallels and meridians may be drawn on a globe, only a selected number are usually drawn on a map. Now, latitude and longitude are measured in degrees, right? So because they represent angular distances. Now this each degree is further divided into 60 minutes and each minute into 60 seconds. You may think, are all these details necessary? Well, yes, of course, because just writing down the degrees or writing down the latitude or longitudinal coordinates is not sufficient. You should be well aware of what you are writing and why you are writing, right? Okay, let's move further. Now we all know that Tropic of Cancer passes through India, but do you know the states through which the Tropic of Cancer passes? Let me show you. You recognize this line? The Tropic of Cancer, right? So through which states is it passing? Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. So question might come that through which state uh, Tropic of Cancer does not pass through, and they may give you options. You have to be careful not to choose the wrong option. Okay, let's move ahead. So when they ask us what is the location or the latitudinal or longitudinal extent of our country, these are the things that you need to answer. First is that the north-south is 37 degrees 6 minutes north, and southern part is 8 degrees 4 minutes north, and longitudinal extent is 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degree 25 minutes east. If you are observing here, this part is in the southern side of our country and still I am saying it as north, and this is in the western side but still I am saying it as east. Why is it so? See, India lies above the equator, so it is in the northern hemisphere, so no matter this is the southern tip of our country, still this will be 8 degrees 4 minutes north. And this side, now India lies to the eastern side of the prime meridian. That's the reason no matter this point is towards the western tip of our country, even then it will be 68 degrees 7 minutes east. Apart from that, when they are talking about the latitude and longitudinal extent, you are also supposed to mention the distance in kilometers as well. So the east-west extension is 2,933 kilometer, and the north-south extension is 3,214 kilometer. Now, this distance, if you see, is almost close to 3,000 kilometers. And the difference in degrees is also close to 30 degrees, right? So questions may come like, what is the influence of latitudinal extent of our country? Then it may be, why is there a difference in the duration of day and night as one moves from north to south? Or why is there a difference between the duration of day and night hardly felt in Kanyakumari but not so in Kashmir? Right? Questions may be of this type. So what will be the answer for such question? We all know Tropic of Cancer passes through India, right? And that divides our country into northern part in the temperate zone and the southern part in the tropical zone. In the tropical zone, we also know that the sun rays fall directly, whereas in the temperate zone, the sun rays fall slant, because of which in the equatorial region the difference in the day and night duration is very less and is hardly felt, whereas in the northern hemisphere the days are shorter and nights are longer, right? And whereas during the summer, if you see, the days will be longer and the nights are shorter. That difference is felt only in the temperate zone area and not in the tropical zone area. I hope this is clear. Question can come like, why does the climate in our country vary from north to south? So if you observe, there is an imaginary line that passes through our country, that is the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north latitude, right? This divides our country into two halves, and the northern part is in the temperate zone, whereas the southern part is in the tropical zone, because of which the southern part experiences a tropical climate and the northern part experiences a temperate climate. I hope this is clear.
Now we know that the mainland of India extends between the longitude 68 degree 7 minutes east and 97 degree 25 minutes east. Now this east-west extension is 2933 kilometer in length. Okay, now the longitudinal extension shows that India is located in the eastern hemisphere. Now if we calculate this extent in degrees, right? The eastern limit is 97 degrees 25 minutes east, and we are subtracting this from the western extent, that is 68 degree 7 minutes. 7 minutes means it is 7 minutes east. Okay, we are subtracting this, then we will get this as 18 minutes and this as 29 degrees, right? So this is approximately equal to 30 degrees. Okay, now 1 degree is equal to 4 minutes. 4 minutes we are writing like this, so I am writing in this way. So 1 degree is 4 minutes. 30 degrees, how many minutes? So this will be 30 into 4, that is equal to 120 minutes, right? Now why I have calculated 120 minutes here, you will get to know. 1 hour 60 minutes. So 120 minutes will be, this is equal to 120 minutes is equal to 2 hours, right? So we can say this, from eastern limit to this western limit of India, the time difference is 2 hours.
So now we understand that there is a difference of 2 hours time lag between Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat time. So to avoid this time lag for the entire country, to take it as a whole, they have considered one standard meridian that passes through Mirzapur near Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh, that is 82 degrees 30 minutes east, as the standard meridian for India. When compared with the Greenwich Mean Time, our time is 5.5 hours ahead of it. There is one more thing you need to know, That is, we all know that Tropic of Cancer passes through India right here, and that is 23 degrees 30 minutes north latitude. Now, as we go towards south, 22 degrees north latitude onwards towards downside, southern side, the land gets narrower as it extends towards the Indian Ocean. So, what does it benefit our country in any way? Is the important question here. Now that the topic came about Indian Ocean, question may arise like why is the Indian Ocean named after India? And this is one of the important questions of this lesson. And I have given an explanation about it in the YouTube shorts. Do check it out. You will get it in a very simple way. Okay. Now that we are talking about the India's trade route in the Indian Ocean, questions can also come like explain India's trade relation by land and sea route, and or how does India have a strategic location? Illustrate your answer, or like explain India's trade relation with the world, or its impact and result of these trade relations. Okay, so how would the answers be like? Like, first, let us go and see the map and then we'll discuss the answer. Okay. If you see in this map, India is centrally positioned between East Asia and West Asia, and the long coastline of India has always provided an added advantage to India for the maritime trade and its relationship with the world. Though India's relationship with the world through maritime trade is much older than her land routes, and India's contact with the world has been continued through ages. If we consider land routes, then various passes through mountains across the mountains in the north have provided passages to the travelers. Now, be it the land route or the sea route, right? These routes have contributed in the exchange of ideas of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishads, Panchatantra, decimal system, numerals, etc. And in the exchange of commodities like spices, textiles, muslin, etc. On the other hand, we also find the influence of Greek sculpture and architectural styles of dome and minarets from West Asia in different parts of our country. Now, after the opening of Suez Canal in 1869, the distance from Europe to India reduced by 7,000 kilometers, and this helped in increasing the maritime trade more. This is the last segment of this lesson. Uh, India and neighboring countries is very easy topic. You all very well know what are the neighboring countries of India, neighboring countries that share the land boundary and neighboring countries that are island countries, right? This is very obvious if you see the map. If you get confused or miss out one or two here and there. Okay, these I have already covered it in the YouTube shorts. Do check them out. Uh, Things will become more simple there, and it's just a 1 minute video, so it won't take much of your time as well. Questions, there are different types of questions in this section. Maybe for 1 mark questions, MCQ questions might come, not much, or maybe 2 marks to the max in this topic. So question will be like name the neighboring countries of India or states having common frontiers with one particular neighboring country, or neighboring states which don't share international border with any of these countries. Question will also come like which is the strait and gulf that separates Sri Lanka from our mainland India? Then it is Park Strait and Gulf of Mannar. Another question is name the southernmost point of India. It is the Indira Point that got submerged in 2004 during the tsunami. Then questions will be like which union territory are situated along the western coast or eastern coast of India. Here in this type of question, focus on the prepositions, right? Here, along, on, in, what are they asking? Focus on that. Marks generally you tend to lose here only. Okay. If it is along the coast, you have to mention both that Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli along the western coast, Puducherry and Andaman Nicobar Islands along the eastern coast. When the question is on the western coast, it is Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. On the eastern coast, it is Puducherry. In and around the Arabian Sea, it is Maldives, sorry, Lakshadweep Islands, Daman and Diu, sorry, in the Arabian Sea, it is Lakshadweep, and in the Bay of Bengal, it is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Focus on the prepositions. Okay, don't miss out your marks here. Okay, the last topic is in 1947, there were two types of states in our country. They were the provinces and the princely states. Provinces were directly ruled by the Britishers who were appointed by the viceroys, and princely states were locally ruled by hereditary rulers who accepted the British sovereignty and in return of their local autonomy. Local autonomy means basically it is like we will rule, or the Britishers used to say you rule the country, but it will be under our power, but you are just the face of the that you are ruling. That's all. Okay, control will be in the Britishers' hand. That's what is the about the princely state. So it is written locally ruled by hereditary rulers who accepted the British sovereignty, okay, in return for local autonomy. Clear? In return, they used to give away a lot of taxes and all. They used to pay for that. So with this, we have completed our lesson. I hope explanation of this chapter was very good and you have understood the lesson thoroughly. Students, there is a Google form in the description below. You have to, you need to answer a few questions. It's all completely up to you, but it will be really very helpful to you if you answer a few questions based on your understanding of this lesson. And after the first 1000 student subscribers enrolling into this quick learner, I will make a special video of understanding of maps for lesson 4 climate. This is a very important chapter. If you understand the maps in this chapter, it will be very easy and it will boost your performance in geography. And apart from that, your overall understanding of climate will also be very good. So looking forward to your responses. In my next video, I'll be covering chapter 2, physical features of India. In this chapter, we have learned, in this chapter, we have learned about India, right? Its neighboring countries and the trade and all. But in the coming chapter, we'll be learning about the major physiographic divisions of our country. Apart from that, we'll also learn about something extra. Then, can you guess what will be the helping aid? Keep guessing. Okay, to check whether your guess is correct or not, to assess whether my method of teaching is beneficial or not for your understanding, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press that like button. Do share these videos with your friends if you find my classes helpful. See you in the next video. Until then, have a great day.